Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, affects over 16 million Americans. COPD causes lung damage that obstructs airflow, interferes with the lungs taking up oxygen and removing carbon dioxide, and produces symptoms such as productive cough, wheezing, and exercise limitations due to shortness of breath. In the U.S., tobacco smoke is the most common exposure that causes COPD. About 15% of all COPD cases can be attributed to workplace exposures, such as dust, gases, and chemical fumes. This video provides an overview of COPD and an introduction to several people currently living with the disease.
About 3 years ago, went in and took a breathing test with my pulmonologist, and unfortunately he came back and said, "I had some bad news for you." And I looked at him and I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "You have COPD," and he explained what that was. And I told him, "There's just no way, I've never smoked in my life." But he goes, "There's a possibility that you got it from something else."
COPD refers to a group of diseases that cause airflow blockage and breathing-related problems. It includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. The symptoms of COPD include frequent coughing or wheezing, excess phlegm, mucus, or sputum production, shortness of breath, and trouble taking a deep breath.
I was a miner for approximately 12 or 13 years. We drilled holes in rock to expose the uranium ore. The thing about it is we breathed in so much of the ore that we became fairly sick.
One challenge we notice in work-related COPD is delayed diagnosis. Individuals often don't report these symptoms early enough, and physicians often dismiss these symptoms. And when they do recognize the symptoms and do the appropriate tests, they often fail to establish the connection between past work-related exposures and current symptoms. And that is one of the biggest challenges in work-related COPD.
Well, the mines shut down in mid-70s. That's when I quit working in the mines. And then I went to work for the highway department. And that's when I started having actually problems, because 6 months, 7 months after I quit the mines, I was still spitting up black and coughing up nasty stuff.
The impact of work-related COPD can be quite profound. Often it has tremendous psychological impact on patients. They get really upset that they are unable to do certain things at work and at home that they could easily do. This has devastating socioeconomic consequences for the patient and for the family.
I used to like carpentry a lot. In fact, I did a lot of this housing. And I used to do for my family, my aunts, my brother, my sister. I used to help them with carpentry. I used to do help a lot of people and myself, and I can't even do my own yards anymore. I gotta pay somebody to do my yards, because I can't do it. Just run out of breath, get tired.
The families of patients with work-related COPD need to recognize that there are physical and psychological dimensions of this disease, and they need to support the patient in both the management of disease as well as maintaining a generally healthy lifestyle at home.
My lifestyle has changed and is continually changing now. My wife, she's always got my back. She waits on me a little bit more hand and foot now because I'm incapable. I would go downhill real fast if she wasn't there to kick me.
I think there's increasing recognition by the American employers and by the American workers that this disease is preventable. And every effort needs to be made to make this disease less common in the United States, and if it does occur, to diagnose it early and to treat it early.